transfer saga of this window, without question, is Alexander Isak and Liverpool. So as of last night, the first bid has been placed and rejected by Newcastle. According to sources, it's 110 million pounds. Probably with 10 million pounds in add-on, so it's the combined package of 120 million pounds, which is less than what Newcastle value Isak, which is 150 million pounds. Now, sources indicates that Liverpool may not go back for a second bid for Alexander Isak. And I've seen other video clips from other YouTube channels, not just Liverpool's, but of course of rival clubs. They have mixed reactions. Some think that, it's a relief that Isak is not going to Liverpool, and some others think that Liverpool will go back to Isak. I have a theory on this, okay, and I'm gonna divide. I'm gonna have two different angles. Here's angle number one. Let's say Liverpool doesn't go back to put a second bid. All right, there's actually a good reason for that. The way that Alexander Isak has conducted himself, like he didn't join Newcastle in their preseason tour. Claimed that there's an injury which may be legitimate. I think a small thigh injury. But after that, he went AWOL and went to Real Sociedad. He went to Real Sociedad in Spain to train by himself. I've seen other channels calling this an unprofessional behavior, and really, I think Isak was unprofessional. And it really sends a message, because if Alexander Isak is willing to go to such lengths, not training with his team, it is not a good look for him. It's not a good look for Isak when, whether it's Liverpool or other clubs, if they want to buy Isak, all right, this is gonna be at the back of their minds, like, Isak's willing to do this if he doesn't like to stay in the club. So it's not really prospective. So if Liverpool, after getting rejected by Newcastle, if they choose to not bid a second time, that's understandable. Now that's angle number one. Here's angle number two. Maybe Liverpool will return. Maybe Liverpool will come back for a second bid, because Isak has made it clear he doesn't want to stay in Newcastle. So he wants to leave Newcastle, and right now Liverpool are the prospects to sign him. I mentioned in a previous video that this will drag. Like verbatim, I said something along the lines of, they won't sign Isak so soon. This will drag on. And I predicted that, in an educated guess, that because Liverpool play Newcastle in the second game, Isak will not be there. He won't play in that second game. And then after the second game, Newcastle could sell, or should I say Liverpool could buy Isak after that second game, maybe bring him just in time for the third game against Arsenal. So that's the two angles I would offer. But either way, right, Newcastle are not in the driving seat. It's actually Liverpool. And think about this for a second, all right? Let's go back to angle one. Even if Liverpool doesn't come back for a second bid, that's fine. Sure, Isak is the number one target, and we may not get him eventually, but that's okay, because there's somebody waiting in the wings, the left wing, no pun intended. Regardless of what I read in the reports in the Real Madrid camp, Rodrigo is unsettled. So if we can't get Isak, if Liverpool is not going back to bid a second time, then there's Rodrigo, and they could use the money to spend on Rodrigo and a centre back. And I've said this many times, get the Mark Gahey deal done. that 110 million could be spent on these two, and you still have some pocket change. And so I think that could be, if let's say the sources are true, if the sources are true that Liverpool do not go back for a second bid, well, there's your obvious path. There's the alternative. If we do get Isak, or sorry, if they do go back to Newcastle for the second bid, well, Newcastle kind of put themselves in a they backed themselves into a corner, because again, the reports say that Newcastle will not let go of Isak until they find a replacement. Well, excuse me, Newcastle. How is Newcastle going to find a replacement first, as in spend the money to find a replacement before letting go of Isak, when the PSR rules are kind of squeezing them tightly? How does that happen? If they want to find a replacement striker, which by the way, Benjamin Sesko and Dusan Vlahovic is available, or even Ollie Watkins or some other, for all I know, they could do a cash deal plus Darwin Núñez and kind of part exchange. But in order to do that, you need the funds. Where are you going to get them? There's only one answer. And if you want to play hardball, and Newcastle do not want to play hardball with Liverpool, because this time around Liverpool have the funds and they have the upper hand, because as much as they want to have Isak as the number one target, there's other options that Liverpool can go for, which Newcastle cannot go for unless they sell Isak. And by the way, as things stand, there's no other clubs that's going after Isak. Arsenal is not going to do it because they want to go for Eze. Chelsea has they're going for Xavi Simons, right? Man City is cool. Man United, nope. They are focusing on their goalkeeper options with Donnarumma. Tottenham is not an option. So where's Isak? If you're going to sell Isak, there's only one place: Liverpool. So the way I see it, with this based on what I read in reports, I'm not worried. I'm okay either way. You know, but would you, Liverpool fans watching and all the fans watching, if you were Newcastle, would you sell first and then buy? And if you were Liverpool, how worried are you that we may not get Isak? And do you think other options are even better than focusing on Isak? Let me know in the comments, man. But at the end of the day, again, you know, this is the transfer saga of this window, and it doesn't worry me.